Hey everybody, this is Randall from Alabama Homesteader. Today I'm going to show you the Flow Hive harvest that we're getting ready to do. Now I haven't harvested honey in about 5 years, so this will be something we haven't done in quite a long time. And the reason I haven't done it is just it's been so aggravating breaking into these hives, pulling the frames, wearing that hot suit, and pulling out all the extraction equipment, getting it in the kitchen, and doing the honey extraction, and it being a several-hour process. Well, one of my supervisors at work was telling me about his flow hive that he got and how easy it was, and I saw his video, of him doing a harvest, and I was like, well, that's relatively simple. The only thing that ever held me back was the price of the flow frames. If you got it from the original manufacturer, those frames would run about $800, and to me the price didn't outweigh the benefits. But I got the Chinese knockoff version for $200, and I got the wood frames. So the frames were $100, and the wood, the clear wood you see here, was $100. So I have $200 invested in the setup. And I put these back here on this hive a few months ago, back in early spring, probably about 3 months ago now. And I looked the other day in this little side view window, and when I opened it up, we had capped honey all the way onto the outside of the frame. And if you can see that, you got those white cappings. When the honeybees have capped over their honey, then you know it's ready for harvest. The water has been dehydrated out of the honey enough that it's ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you our first attempt at harvesting the honey off of this hive. So I'm going to come back around here. We're going to flip this little front thing, lift this up and take off this little hatch that will access the keyway. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on one end and I'm going to work my way over.
One of those plastic pieces fell down.
I got use my hive tool to open up this window. Sometimes these bees glue these things together with their propolis. Take that little plug out of there. Take my little tube that I harvest with. Pop that right in. A couple little turns. And what I did is I took my honey bucket that I normally do my harvesting in. It has the honey gate here where I fill my jars. And I bought another lid for $2, and I drilled a hole the same diameter that my hose would fit down into. And I had this little short piece of hose just laying around, so I figured I would just make this quick little setup And the reason I want to do this is sometimes these flow frames, from what I understand, is it takes a while for them to drain. So rather than me sitting here babysitting this thing and worrying about bees getting down in my honey, I figured I would just harvest the honey down into this bucket and with a closed lid, and that way I don't have to worry about bugs and other stuff getting down into the honey and messing up the honey. So we got this plugged in. So get my keyway tool. Alright, so you take this little tool, stick it right in that bottom slot, and as I go back with the tool, I'm just going to crack these little frames open. And if you look right down there, you'll see it start moving. You'll see the honey start dripping down.
Neat. That is so cool. Oh, and there's a bee on the phone. And the bee is about to sting me.
You're fine, baby. Just checking you.
Let's get back to this.
See it dripping right down the bucket right there. Now I've got these frames about halfway down down the frame that are open. I haven't opened it up all the way down just yet because I didn't want to flood this one little area right here with honey and have it run out and down the hive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just doing a little bit at a time.
I can see all the honey. So what you're doing with that tool is you're cranking it, turning it, and it's allowing...
It's separating those frames. Those frames are honeycomb shaped. And when I crank that tool open, it offsets that honey and it cracks the wax, so the honey flows in between all the honeycombs.
Oh, neat.
Now whenever I'm done, what I'll do is I'll move the tool up to the top slot, and whenever I crank it the other way, it'll close that back and it'll be honeycomb shaped again, and the honeybees will come in here and start cleaning it up, decapping it.
And it'll hold the honey again.
And getting ready to fill back up with honey. I'm hoping we get at least 2 harvests out of this year. Typically out of 7 frames you can expect 5 gallons of honey. So if we get 10 gallons of honey out of this, this will definitely be worth the $200 it took to get set up on this.
Oof.
Now ideally what I would do is I would buy more of this tube, and I would take these clear plastic tubes and I would put them all in there at one time, and I would start cracking them all open and letting them all 7 frames feed into the bucket at one time. But the other day when I went to Lowe's, I bought the wrong size hose. So I decided, I got to hurry up and harvest this honey before the bees start doing something else. So we're just going to do 1 hose at a time today, 1 frame at a time. And it may take several hours to get it done, but at least I can come back over here, check on it, and whenever I'm ready, I can walk back out here and move the hose over and keep the harvest going, even though I'm not here to watch the harvest go into the bucket.
Pure liquid gold right there. Let me get a good shot of that going. Man. Oop. Flowing right down the tube. Yay! Liquid gold.
Yeah, if you notice, these frames are sitting on top of a wooden bee excluder. That keeps the queen from coming up into these frames and laying eggs.
Oh.
So the only thing that can get up here are the smaller worker bees to deposit the honey. And if you went to the front side of it, you will see that it's open on the front, so the bees can fly directly into the hive on top of the bee excluder, so they don't have to worry about coming all the way up through the bottom and harvesting all the way up into the hive.
Mm-hmm.
They can fly directly into this the flow frame side of it, and it makes it quicker and faster for them. So basically what you're looking at is these two bottom hives is where the queen would typically lay her eggs, and all the larvae are hatched. And then this frame right here is slimmer. This is a honey super, and this is where the hive would store their honey first. I want to make sure I take care of my honeybee hive first, so I leave this first box on for the honeybees to live off of for the year. They'll store that full, and that's what they'll eat on all through the winter. Now anything above this box is honey that I can harvest. So with these, whenever they come along and they fill these frames up again, we'll come in and do another harvest. So I'm really excited to see how many gallons of honey we're able to harvest off of this setup for the entire year. So maybe I'll update you guys over on the Facebook, Floribama Homesteader Facebook group, and I might even do an update video on the YouTube also. Alright, so we're going to pause everything here. We're going to let these things drain, and we'll come back and we'll check on it throughout. Alright everybody, this is Randall here for Floribama Homesteader, doing a final update on how our Flow Hive harvest went. And looks like we got about 3.5 to 4 gallons of honey. It all went smooth. I didn't have any problems. The only issue that I saw with the Flow Hive is that when it gets down to a drip and you pull the hose out and you put the plug back, there's a little bit of honey that builds up at that little door right there. So what I decided to do is just open that little door up, let the bees go in, clean that up, use a little bit of smoke, smoked them out of there, and then put the plug back on. And so it wasn't too much aggravation. And I find that harvesting honey this way is really simple, and I liked it. So if it's this easy to do a harvest, I could see me putting forth the effort to go out there to crack those open and get the honey out. But so that's it, and thanks for watching.